Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we are talking about some dated interior design trends that are back. This is part 2, some more things that you need to be thinking about for your home, or maybe you have that are on their way back in, and I love that for you. The first one is actually a trend on social media I'm seeing that makes me actually very happy because I like it, and that is murals. Homeowners and even renters are doing murals on their walls in their own homes to create personality and interest and to bring a little bit of fun into the space, and I think that's exciting. And these are happening in a few different ways. When we think of a mural, you think of something like in a kid's room and it's like animals or trees and all of those things, and yes, that is happening. Yes, we like it. We love that. A lot of people think I'm a hater on kids' rooms and I'm like, oh, they can't have any fun. They have to be all of this. No, I want you to put some effort into it and so the kids can actually have some fun outside of just buying some random stuff to stick on the wall. But that's a conversation for another video, potentially. What I'm seeing that I'm really liking and what people are doing are stripes. They're doing stripes on their walls and they're painting them. They're taping out the stripes and they're setting out a pattern for them using multiple colors. And some people are even freehanding kind of stripes and lines so they have sort of an aged look to them. And I think that's really great. And the big reason people are doing this is because wallpaper is back on trend, but wallpaper is very expensive. It's a big commitment and it is very expensive. So not everybody can access that or do it, and that's totally okay. You have to get creative. I always say this to you in videos. Have fun, get creative. If you can't buy it, you can DIY it. Okay, well, I love a good rhyme. The real fun part about this is that your potential is unlimited. If you have a little stencil, if you can, measure, it's super easy. You can get a laser level measuring device and kind of use that to do this too, to make it even easier. Anybody could do this as long as you can use a basic ruler and a piece of tape. You could create this effect. Now, I love it, and I think it's really good. In a lot of areas in your home, people do it in powder rooms, people do it in hallways. People are really loving to do this in kids' rooms, though, and that's where I think it really looks the best and looks really good, because in a kid's room, we wanna have patterns, we wanna have color, we wanna have fun, and a lot of people, like I said, will be like, oh, let the kids do whatever they want in their room and let them have the wild. Yeah, let them, but let's elevate it and take it to the next level, and this is an easy way to do that. You can also color block with this to do multiple tones of it. This is also a really good way if you want to use a really bold, impactful, and strong color to actually neutralize it a little bit, because we can do a white stripe and then whatever this bold color you want to use is. So be on the lookout for this, a major trend that it's on its way back, and we all love a good mural. We all love the memories associated with that, and it takes a lot of work to do it initially, but you'll be grateful for it in the long run. And remember, I'm always looking out for you, whether that is in, some of these ideas you could bring into your house, color schemes for your space, how to decorate beautifully, and if you need some extra help, I am here for you. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me where you can show me your home and I can answer some of those difficult design questions. You can book a call with me using the link in the description box down below, or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Now, another dated trend that I suspect is back, and this blew my mind, okay? Blown away, could not believe it. I spoke in a video that the video was about like dated design styles that are back. I will link it here and at the end of this one for you, about Hollywood Regency style and how you can kind of incorporate this into your space. And one of the things I suggested were mirrored pieces of furniture. You know what I mean, like the glam pieces of furniture. Everybody wanted them. It was mirrored and it had like a pewter trim on it. I said, you could get a piece like that and paint all of the pewter trim to be a bright brass gold. Okay, that's very Hollywood Regency coded. But after I did that, I was kind of like, you know what? That would look good in my house. I could see that for me. I went on Facebook Marketplace and I, bookmarked a few pieces. I was like, oh, these are potentials. Maybe I'll message the seller and get dimensions on it, which FYI, if you're trying to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, like nobody's gonna buy it if you don't have dimensions on it. Okay, like give me a width, give me a height, give me a depth, like basic things here, okay? Make sure you put them on there. But I didn't even have the chance. Okay, like I would bookmark it and like 15 minutes later, boom, sold. I could not believe it. I was stunned, I was gagged, I had no words, but If this is something that's moving that quickly, it tells me that people are after it, people want it, it is back on trend. And this is something I think is really interesting and something that, you know, maybe I'm not necessarily like envisioning it in my mind saying, hey, this would be great for everybody and you should all do this, but it is something that people are out there doing. They're buying these pieces. And the really interesting thing about these to me is, one, like I said, they can look good if you DIY the trim on them and repaint it to be a bright gold color, because I think that's nice. And if you have a lot of wood furniture, if you have a lot of painted furniture, this is a good way to break a little bit of that up. And that's why I thought it could be good for me as a TV console in my living room here. I have like an empty corner I need a piece for, and I thought, that could be cute there. This is something I'm seeing. People are snapping them up left and right. They are available at a relatively good price in comparison to what they sold for initially, which sometimes was, you know, like $800, $900, $1,000, $1,200. People are selling them for $200. And so you can get a really good piece of furniture at a good deal. Maybe it takes a little bit of DIY, but it could be something that has a real statement and presence in your space in an unexpected way that nobody is prepared for and nobody's talking about. Another trend, a dated trend that is back that I am here for, I love, I'm excited about, is actually terrazzo tile, terrazzo countertops. This is great. I work with clients from every kind of spectrum of design, and they come to me because they know I appreciate every design style and I can work in all of them, but that's beside the point. But a lot of people come to me with mid-century and they love mid-century, but they want to infuse it into a home, be it a colonial style home, or they want to update a mid-century style home and use this. And I love recommending terrazzo tile because it is so versatile and it's a really good alternative to natural stone. And right now we primarily use it in commercial applications. Like you see it in hospitals all the time because it's easy to maintain and it can be used on a very large scale and installed relatively quickly. And you know, there's not a lot of grout lines to take care of. But if you're doing a terrazzo tile, for example, in a bathroom, there's a big mid-century reference point to that. Terrazzo was first introduced in the 1920s. Loosely, I say introduced because that's when it kind of gained a lot of popularity, but there's always been cement mixes that kind of have this reference to them with like oversized aggregate pieces and quartz pieces in them. It's really cool in mid-century spaces though, because we can get it in neutral variations. You can get different sized pieces of quartz in this material that are really interesting. It comes in tile. It also comes in slabs. So you could do countertops and backsplashes in this. You can do flooring in this in spaces that feel modern, but you want them to have that organic and natural feeling, because this has a light reference to a fossilized style of stone. And that's really interesting to have in your space. It brings a lot of character. It brings a feeling of nature inside, but I specifically like this because it's a man-made material and it's not like a fake marble. Okay, it's not trying to be anything natural because it never was, it never will be. You can get these man-made materials, and when you use a man-made material like a porcelain tile, it has a lot of durability. They're baked, they're fired, they have glazes on them that are very stain resistant. They have a little bit more of a resilience to chipping and cracking, and that's really cool to me, and I like to see it. I could envision this in a bathroom, on the floor, in a shower. You could really go over the top with this because you can use them in very subtle tones, or you can get them in that like atomic mid-century look where they're bright and vibrant colors too. There's a lot of versatility in this material, and that is why a lot of people are really enjoying it and liking it. Also, a big comeback for this is people like mid-century homes, but a lot of times they haven't been updated correctly, or they've been updated in a way that's not sympathetic to the architectural style. And this is a material that is, so when they go renovate it, they kind of like to install this so they get that traditional, maybe not traditional, but classic reference to mid-century design. I think it's beautiful, and it's definitely something worth considering. And I know some of these may not be for everybody, but there's a little bit of something for everyone on this channel. So no matter what your style is, no matter what you like, if you love interior design and beautiful spaces, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our LeChic family. We would love to have you here as a part of our design loving community as we elevate homes one at a time. So be sure you hit that subscribe button. I would also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. Another trend that is back, it's been dated, it's been out, people have been hating it, but we love it now and we're seeing it all over the place, is actually chandeliers with lampshades on them. And I'm not talking about a singular lampshade style fixture. that's great. It's beautiful. If you're looking for something that leans modern, is simplistic, that's the way to go. But I'm talking about these more traditional chandeliers with arms on them, and then they have little lampshades to go over the bulbs. I love it. I love it. I eat it up because of so many reasons. Number one, this has gained so much popularity because of the cottage style that is back. Right now, traditional references in design are really huge. And this is one of them, and how you can kind of incorporate it without doing something that feels really fussy. And I like the dimming effect that a shade has on a bulb. If you just have an exposed light bulb, you know, like an incandescent candelabra style bulb, even if you have an LED version of that, they're very bright, they're very glaring, you're looking straight at a light bulb, and that's a little bit like overwhelming, gives me a migraine. Okay, I don't like the harsh light, but that's beside the point. A shade is going to dim that down a little bit, and I like that. That's pretty, it's soft, the light is just a little bit diffused, and they project light in an interesting way. They angle some of it down, some of it up. You get a cool reflection on that lighting on the ceiling. Love that. You know, I'm obsessed with great lighting. I also love that you can advance a color scheme a little bit with this, because the shades on the fixture, if you're gonna get a fixture with the shades that comes with them, they're gonna be white. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. But you can pick a different color. You can swap them out. You can literally buy these lampshades in my Amazon storefront, linked in the description box down below, to replace them on a light fixture. And I think that is so great if you really love a cohesive color scheme. If you're looking for a pop of color, you can do this. Also, if you get a ton of these little lampshades, you could swap them out for the holidays. How cute would that be? Like, you know, you could put red and green ones up for Christmas. You could put pink ones up for Valentine's Day, maybe yellow for Easter. I don't know. You could do a lot of different things with this. You can do this on sconces as well. And another big trend when it comes to lampshades are customizing them, wrapping them in patterned fabric. And, you know, that's kind of a DIY you could do. You could have them custom made. This is something super cute and interesting. If you want custom ones, you could DIY them yourself, or Etsy's a great resource for that. If you're looking for some that are solid, interesting colors that are a little smaller, clip-on lampshades, check out my Amazon storefront, linked in the description box down below. Now, another trend that is back and shoppable in my Amazon storefront, and I love that for you, is actually a corner TV stand. Let me tell you what. So many designers, the top designers, will tell you not to put a TV in your living room. I will tell you to use your living room at all costs. I want you taking advantage of every space in your home. You're paying for it, you may as well use it. So adding a TV into a room, if that's what it's gonna get you in there and using it, that's what I want. Let me make that point very clear. Also, I like a big TV because I just wanna see things, like go big or go home if you have the space for it. Now, where a lot of my clients struggle is that, where do you put a TV? Where do you put it that looks good? Because they don't all have massive homes, and they don't all have a natural place for a TV, right? Like, you know, you have a living room, maybe it's designed around a fireplace. Okay, so you centralize the furniture around the fireplace, your option is to put the TV above it. I don't wanna walk in and be distracted from all of the beautiful everything to see a TV. I mean, live your fantasy. You may as well not decorate anything. Just put a chair in the corner, you can sit there and watch your TV, right? No. There's so much we can do, and one of my favorite things to recommend is actually a corner TV stand. And it's typically like a stand for a TV, or you could use an artist easel to do this, but it's about having the TV off center and off to the side. I don't want a big bulky piece of furniture underneath it. That was what we used to do. It was like, you know, you get a corner cabinet and the TV would sit on, you'd have the VCR in the little thing. No, we're above that. We've moved past it. Getting some sort of a stand with legs on it for your TV, and it's not necessarily a furniture piece. This is usually just like a TV mount with legs on it that you can use and put it in a corner. It's a great little trick and a hack to use. Also, there's a renter-friendly version of a TV wall mount you can use where it is a standalone piece. It has like a leg, it's like an L shape. You'll see them in my Amazon storefront, where you can mount the TV on that and put it behind a piece of furniture like a console, so the television is on the wall. You can tuck all of the cords away. It's super clean and tidy. That's something to think about also. If you're like, Garrett, I don't have a fireplace. Okay, I can put my TV on the wall. Make sure you are sitting on your sofa, and you can literally sit there, take a tape measure, measure it from the floor up to, like, you know, the perfect viewing point. That's where the center of your TV goes. You know, you could kind of play around with that number. Just make sure it's hung at the perfect height so you can sit there. You don't have to crane your neck one way or another, and you can see the TV. You can actually use your space, because like I said, you're paying for that square footage one way or another. You may as well take advantage of it. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in today's video, we're talking about design details, some big, some small, that you will never regret putting into your home. And as an interior designer, I can tell you, my clients live for them. Now, the first thing you can add to your home that you won't regret, because I wouldn't ever regret, I literally don't, is adding oversized trim or extra trim into your home. I'm talking about get bigger baseboards, add crown molding, add a picture rail, add applied moldings. So many of my clients as of late are loving applied moldings in their home because it looks beautiful, it's luxurious, it's a layered detail. It's like you don't have to spend a ton of money on big artwork because you have all this trim on your wall. And you can also use these in spaces that are really hard to hang pieces of artwork, like a double height foyer. Put applied molding on the walls. Like, it literally is so easy. It's great. Angled walls, right up a staircase, a big wall above a staircase, because you can hang artwork, but how do you hang it? It has to stack, it has to move up slowly. That's really hard to do and find the correct positioning on, so using applied moldings there is great. You can also go oversized on the molding on your trim and your doors. That's something really beautiful. There was also a big trend like early 2000s where it was very much like, if I tell you like loft style, like Chicago loft style, you know exactly what I mean here, where it's like we had beautiful wood cabinetry and doors and everything in homes, but they were flat. They had no details on them. We've kind of moved away from that, and people like a clash or a juxtaposition of contemporary spaces with traditional design details. So something I recommend when people have like flat doors in their homes is to just add trim onto the door. It looks expensive. Nobody is sitting there being like, oh, you added some trim on that door. People are like, oh, that's kind of nice, and I didn't have to buy new doors. Which, let me tell you, replacing all of the doors in your house, I've done it. It's not inexpensive. It is very, very expensive, especially right now it is very expensive. But all of these things are great to consider in a home because they add in a lot of details without you having to buy a lot of physical items or pieces of furniture or artwork. Adding oversized trim, you'll never regret it. It always makes a home look more expensive to have a great trim package in there, and you can add that in over time. Another design detail that you will never regret bringing into your home, and I can tell you, you cannot go back from it, never, okay, is pinch pleats. Once you go pinch pleat, you never go back. It's the truth. I can't envision my life before I had pinch pleat drapes. And I always say this to my clients, do the pinch pleats. It's so nice. It looks so expensive without it actually being that. And something that's really great is that you cannot just like quickly throw together and machine stitch, or, you know, like all of these things, pinch pleats. Somebody has to put that hand work into it. And I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate those little bits of details. Yes, you pay a little bit more for them, but in my opinion, you get a lot out of it. Great window treatments always make a home look expensive, and pinch pleats are the easiest way to do that. You get extra folds that create more vertical lines and elongate the walls and the ceiling height in your space. And I just love that. I think it's so fantastic. Pinch pleats also, you get a lot more volume of fabric in the same amount of space, and that's really good to have as well. Something else you will never regret bringing into your home is some great interior design advice. And when you get stuck and you need some help, you can always come to me. You could book a one-on-one interior design consultation with me where I can answer any and all of your design and decorating needs. You can go to the description box down below and book that, or you can go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Now, another design detail you will never regret bringing into your home is a painted ceiling. Once you have great ceiling details, you will never enter or go into a space that doesn't have them and not see the fact that something is missing. I love a painted ceiling. I adore a painted ceiling. And the way I really got into the whole painted ceiling thing, or like a ceiling detail, is we bought a house that just had painted ceilings. Like we moved into it and they were already painted. And we were like, this is weird, like this is different. And then when it came time for us to repaint the house, because obviously I didn't choose the colors in it, so they had to be changed, I was like, do we go white on the ceiling or do we paint it to match the walls? Like there's no question. Like, you cannot go back from having a painted ceiling into just having like a flat white ceiling. It's impossible. I love a painted ceiling. I love a painted ceiling because your ceiling is such an underutilized part of your home that painting it a color, whether it's the same color as your walls or an accent color or something a little different, makes the world of difference. In my home, we do have all white ceilings, but that's because we added a lot of ceiling details. We did paneling, we did molding, I did faux coffered, I did shiplap ceilings because it fits the style of my home really beautifully. Those details are enough that I can leave them white, but you can also paint a ceiling. I love it. I love it so much because a painted ceiling is just such a great detail to bring into a space. It really is a designer detail because everybody out there, everybody in the world, everybody, you know, across the nation, the land, the universe, whatever, they're not painting their ceilings because it's just not something they're thinking about. It's adventurous. It's different. You really have to be brave in order to do that because it is something different. It's unexpected, especially if you use darker colors in your home. Painting your ceiling dark, like, whoa, you know, that's something big. To paint a ceiling dark, you can easily do that. You can color drench, you could just paint an accent ceiling, you could have your trim be a different color than the walls and the ceiling, and it really makes it stand out and pop a lot. I love a painted ceiling. It's gorgeous and absolutely something worth considering. Even if you're just painting your ceiling the same shade of white as your walls, do that, color drench in white. I love it. Even if you're painting your ceiling like a slightly different or lighter version of it, whatever, if you have a very bright space, if you have a really dark space, I love a painted ceiling detail. It's not one you will regret, and you're never gonna live in a house that doesn't have a painted ceiling detail either. Never. Another design detail you will never regret bringing into your home is more lighting. Lighting is great, layered lighting, it's just soft, it's beautiful. You can completely change the feeling of your home from day to night using additional lighting. Most designers will tell you they have 20, 25, 30 lamps in their home because we love lighting. We love to have as many lamps. Put one in every corner, one in the center of the room, two in that one corner, and then let's get some overhead lighting. Maybe we put some LED lighting into the trim. There's also a big trend right now where people are adding spotlights into their floors by like doors and windows and stuff to like get, you know, this really great projection of light upward. I absolutely love it. I love it. And something I'm doing with a lot of clients right now is we are going in with spotlights on the ceiling. Instead of doing like, you know, that flush mounted recessed can light type thing, we're going in with spotlights so we can really project the lighting onto walls to create this bounce of light that has just an interesting feeling to it. And I love that. I love it so much. Track lighting is even coming back in because people are realizing like, wait a second, having all of this additional lighting is really, really good. It's really great in our home. So that's what I want to see in a home. Lighting is the easiest way to do that. And like I said, you can change the feeling from day to night because you use warm tone lighting. Okay, 2700 for lamps and like a chandelier. And then in a kitchen and a bathroom, you can go a little bit brighter than that. 3000, 3500, 4000. That's the range you want to go. And 4000 is actually a little bit much. I would personally use 4000 in a garage before I used it in my house, but you can go a little bit brighter where you need additional lighting. Something else I love for you is becoming a part of the best design community in the world on the internet, and that is this one right here. So be sure you take a moment and you hit that subscribe button, join us, become a part of our GarrettLeChic family of design enthusiasts and people who have great style, great taste, or at the very least recognize it, and we can achieve that in our home, so be sure you join us. I also would greatly appreciate if you helped share this video by sharing it with anybody you think could use it and giving it a like. Another design detail I talk about all the time with clients and nobody ever regrets is going oversized with your vent hood. I actually have a client right now where we're doing so much great work in our home and it's modern and it's chic and it's minimal and it's very like Paris style, and we're like, go oversized with the vent hood, like get a big vent hood because we're not doing a ton in the kitchen. She doesn't cook a lot, so we want something really beautiful and statement-like. Go oversized with the vent hood. And what I mean by that is like, let's say you have a 30-inch oven, get the 36-inch vent hood. If you have the 36-inch cooktop oven, like, okay, let's get like a 40 or a 42-inch vent hood. Like, get it big, get it oversized, especially if you have taller ceilings. Like if you have 9-foot ceilings, getting an oversized vent hood is going to balance out the proportions and scale. We don't want some like skinny, tall thing, like, you know, string bean type of looking thing up to this. No, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. We need a big, stately vent hood to really create that bold impact. And you can also have that encased in cabinetry. You can have it kind of blend in and that's fine, but also you get a lot of use out of an oversized vent hood, right? They are sucking up more air than probably is necessary. There's more ventilation happening and it's getting up all of the cooking smells and the steam and the grease and all of the things. And I'm so happy about that. But oversized vent hoods always look amazing. They have great function and utility, but the aesthetics are there for me. And sometimes you compromise. You'll like do something that is just beautiful because it brings you joy, but it maybe is not the single most functional thing. This is the opposite. You do it because it's extremely functional, but it looks good. You'll never go back to having a standard size vent hood once you have an oversized one. You will thank yourself for it because of what it will do to the overall design and aesthetic of your kitchen. An oversized vent hood, oh, brings me so much joy, and you will get that joy too. Another design detail that that nobody ever regrets. Nobody ever regrets, and it's probably like, it's a classic at this point. It's not a trend, and it's something everybody should be thinking about. I always, when we talk about kitchens with clients, this is always a conversation that is had, and that's a slab backsplash. We love a slab backsplash because there are no grout lines. Okay, it's just easy to take care of. It's easy to clean. Why wouldn't we have it? Especially if we're going with some great stone or material in a kitchen. Why would we not do a slab backsplash, right? Like, come on now. Like, it just looks really good. And there's a number of things you can do in this realm or niche that actually are very functional and look good, but provide a lot more function than you currently have. Let's talk about a tile backsplash. Tile backsplashes are great, but they have grout. And I love a tiled backsplash because you can go in and add them after the fact. So if you buy a new home and you don't have the budget to spend a lot of money on the backsplash, you can do that later on. We can take off the little splash back, the little 3-inch piece of stone, take that off and then put beautiful tile up there. And it's great, it looks good, and it's wonderful. And if you're gonna do that, do it. Match the color of your countertop so it just has that effect of continuing upwards. And I think that's great. But you have a lot of grout lines. Sometimes you pick a more delicate material or something that is just a little more trendy because you kind of pick what you like at the time. And then 5 years on, you're like, ugh, who picked this? Like, no, we have to redo it. That's a conversation I have with a lot of clients where they pick something out and they're like, I don't know what I was doing or thinking. And then I came here and the people had it installed and I realized I didn't like it then. So now I have to redo it again. You don't want to be that person. So when it comes to clients that are like, hey, I don't want to replace my countertops, or maybe they have something simple. They're like, I have a white quartz countertop and yeah, it's really functional and it looks good and I don't want to spend the money replacing it. I'm like, let's look for an alternative material in a similar color that is a slab, because we can get a lot of bang for our buck there. We can also use oversized tile, and then we only have very few thin vertical grout lines that we can put in, and we get that slab backsplash effect. And because the backsplash is vertical, we see more of it than the horizontal surface from a distance, and so we can do something really interesting there. We can do a marble backsplash or like a porcelain look marble backsplash with a quartz countertop. It's fantastic. You will never regret a slab backsplash, and you don't have to use the same material on your countertop and your backsplash either. It's not a design detail you will go back from or regret, even if you're just doing granite. If you're doing, a simple granite or an interesting granite, let's say, and you want that really strong, that durability granite has, putting it on your backsplash, okay, you like the granite, just add more of it. Put it on the backsplash. Actually, granite is harder to match with tile than anything else is. So I would say if you're doing granite, please take it up the backsplash because it's gonna look really good. You will never regret doing a slab backsplash. It costs a little bit more, but it looks well worth it. Another design detail you will never regret is adding in an antique to every space, regardless of the style. Actually, I would say, especially if the style is modern or contemporary, adding in an antique is going to create personality and character. And it doesn't have to be an antique chair or a big antique cabinet or something you inherited from your grandmother. Like, those are all great, and if they work stylistically in the space, absolutely bring them in. But you can do an antique vase or a jar or a little box to store things in. Having that one antique piece there, really it has history, it has a story to it, and it makes it feel like it does. It brings a lot of character, and it's all about how you style it, really, whether or not it feels antique and vintage old, or if it feels modern and contemporary and chic. I also just love to bring in an antique piece because it makes things that are store-bought or flat pack look more expensive. Like, let's be real. We don't get the same quality today that we used to. Why would we not do that? That juxtaposition of style always feels elevated, and it doesn't have to be something that's extremely ornate. You can get something that's like postmodern or modernism and bring it into this space, and it's like, whoa, that's really cool. That feels interesting. It can be a hand-blown thing. A lot of designers are loving to bring in a antique Murano glass chandelier into a contemporary space right now. I've seen it quite a few times. It looks elevated. It looks chic and interesting. You can bring an antique lamp into a modern space. Those are all things to think about. And if you have a more traditional style, if you bring things in that have a little bit of that detail, that reference point to them, and then mix them with an actual antique, it starts to make everything else feel more authentic and look good, and you don't have to rely as heavily on those detailed pieces because that antique has it. Another design detail you will never regret bringing into your home, are handmade elements and items. I love a handmade element because you can customize them, because there's a little bit of a story there, because, you know, it's just an interesting piece to bring in. We're supporting smaller businesses, local businesses, and I really love that. And what do I mean by a handmade element? Because there's a lot you could go into there, right? Like you can get a custom upholstered sofa, and if you actually are having a custom sofa made by a local furniture manufacturer near you, a small batch manufacturer, you can have it made to exacting dimensions that fit your space perfectly. I'm a custom pillow person. That's where I am always gonna be. I'm always gonna have a custom pillow made, handmade by somebody somewhere in some sort of fabric that I like, whether it's an expensive designer fabric or it's something more affordable that's just the perfect color match for a space. I always love to look out for a handmade pillowcase, or cover I should say, and that brings me so much joy. You can also have things monogrammed or embroidered, custom rugs. I love it. If you are a rug person, you're looking for a rug, a high-end rug, a nice rug, go on to an Etsy and look at all of the sellers, find a rug you like and message that person and say, hey, can you custom make this rug for me in this exact size? How much is that gonna cost? My clients absolutely love that, because sometimes your home is just not conducive to a standard size piece of furniture or a rug or whatever. You can have something customized or made specifically for you. Now that we talked about some design details that you won't regret, let's talk about something else you won't regret: decorating like a designer. Be sure you check out that video right over here to learn all about how to decorate your living room like a designer, and I will see you over there. Oh, and by the way, thanks for watching.